personally and virtually, especially after COVID. So that one is my direct sales experience. So on the profile and also on my resume, that's like my directly selling experience. I sold the clinic 2.5 years ago. Since then, I've been working as a coach, mentor, advisor for companies, small businesses, essentially using a very consultative sales approach. But I'm facilitating them making decisions. Sometimes the decision that I'm helping them make is to actually, you know, go and pay for like a done for you program or a done with you or an extra coaching or anything like that to improve their business. So I'm helping them make decisions. That's what I'm paid for. But obviously, I didn't put that as directly like a sales or closing experience, right? So maybe a bit of advice in terms of how I can frame that experience in a way that is like can directly translate. How can I communicate it succinctly in a way that translates directly into experience that is relevant to sales
What was your
or
role
to closing
specifically?
specifically? So I call myself a decision facilitator. Um, I do a mix of like coaching, consulting, advisory. So business owner founders, they pay me to help make decisions. And I use a process that is very similar to like when we are closing somebody, like I hold the frame and basically I call them out on their
And it
like
was it was pretty much your own
fears,
consulting
excuses.
business, right?
Right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, if you just framed it like that, like if you just said it was your own consulting business, everyone in this industry will understand what that means. Um, you're pretty much just closing for your own service, and then on top of that, obviously doing the delivery. So I think it would translate well and look really well on look. It would look really good on your resume, just saying, "Hey, this is how much, deal value I process through my own consulting business." Obviously, managing the entire process. Are you looking
Okay.
for more so
Okay.
how to frame it in your intro video or just kind of how to put it in the employment history?
You will like all those aspects basically.
Okay. Well, drop a link to your profile and we can take a look at everything and then see what we can see.
Yeah. 1 second.
Cool. While he's pulling that up, is there anything else that we're looking at covering today? Any more intro videos, that kind of stuff, or do we have other questions we want to go through?
Other question, but I'll let Daniel finish.
Cool. James, it looked like you wanted to say something as well. I can't hear you for some reason if you're speaking.
Yeah, I was saying you. I can wait till after.
Okay, let's take a look at this. Hold on, I'm gonna share screen. You guys can let me know when you see it. Share. There we go. All right. So, scrolling through, everything looks good. Good profile pic. Summary. 20 years still hitting stakes decisions. Cool. We got a good summary here. Nice spaced out. Deal sizes showcased. Volume of enrollments looks good. We've got stuff in the portfolio. These, I'm assuming, are some live sales calls or role plays.
Yeah.
Solid. Perfect. Um, employment history. Are we still not able to space these out? I thought I
No,
told the guy to space them out. All right, I'll make another note of that.
no, we cannot.
I'll make another note of that. I thought we changed that. Let's see. Facilitate founders, executives, business owners. Proven across founders. So realistically, we can. I mean, if it's we can tell like business owners when they look at this, they'll be able to tell. Okay, this is your own consulting business. You could simplify this a lot simply talking about, hey, I did consulting on for these types of deals with these types of prospects. This was the ticket size. This is the amount of units that I sold across my tenure. And you can really simplify it so that it's not a ton of information. Most people looking at this will understand, everything else that comes with that. Does that make sense?
Okay. So just make it bullet points, basically.
Yeah, just short, sweet bullet points. If there's anything notable, like here, you can leave that in. Achievements, you can leave that in. I'm going to get this so that it just looks cleaner so you can space it out and line by line it. But other than that, it looks like everything is bullet pointed out, focused on achievements, focused on the numbers, so it does look good. Let's take a look at how you frame it in your intro video.
Hello there, my name is Daniele Poggio. I've been in consultative sales for the last 20 years, 18 of those running my premium health clinic in London, where I personally enrolled more than 10,000 clients, and I maintained a consistent close rate of 40%. Over the last 2.5 years, I've been a decision facilitator for business owners, founders, and executives, helping them make high-stakes decisions with financial implications of $20,000 to $50,000. I've also been a senior leader within the Tony Robbins organization for the last 20 years, helping people facing real challenges make life-changing decisions and move them to action. I'm British and Italian and fully available to US hours. So whether it's a health-conscious professional, an inspiring entrepreneur, or a business owner or executive considering some financial investment, I've been in all those conversations, and I know how to navigate them with integrity, with elegance, and with ethics. And I welcome a conversation to see how I can make your company more successful. Thank you.
Really solid. The only thing I would change, honestly, I think it's a really good video. The only thing I would change was the terms used, just changing them to general terms. Like instead of saying, let me hear what you said exactly. I think it was decision facilitator. Just say you're a consultant. Just say you ran your own consulting business. That way it just translates. They know exactly what you mean by that rather than having to guess or second guess what that might mean. Does that make sense?
Okay.
Let me hear this part again.
Executives, helping them make high-stakes decisions with financial implications of $20,000 to $50,000. I've also been a senior leader within the Tony Robbins organization for the last 20 years, helping people.
When you say
that was just before that.
Yeah, when you say senior leader with Tony Robbins organization, what did you actually do there?
Well, that's the title that they give to people. So,
what did you do?
Well, yeah. So basically, I'm helping people during events to they come to us with various challenges, and they need to make some decisions in their life that they want to change, things that they are dissatisfied with. Mm-hmm. And so I have conversations with them to help them go through and make these decisions. And I'm basically holding frames, and obviously Tony Robbins has got his own methodology.
Was it mainly, sorry to interrupt, was it mainly with the business side of things, or was it more like the life coaching side of Tony Robbins stuff?
It's both. It's both, depending on the event, because obviously some events are more life focused, and some events like Business Mastery, it's purely business. So
I would just frame that as leadership coach. Right, because I just want you to use terms that any recruiter, business owner, they just hear it and they're like, I know exactly what that is. Right? So change it to your own consulting business and change it to leadership coach, and that way you're directly, showcasing. Like people won't have any questions on what you actually did. Because I'm hearing it and it sounds good, but I'm like, what does that mean per se? What was his actual role? You know what I mean?
One question. What if he mentioned he was a leader implementing Tony's methodology, which is neurolinguistic programming, which many people know about, to help people change their lives?
I mean, you can play around with it and showcase that stuff, but the whole point of the intro video is you want it to be short, sweet. I mean, at the end of the day, if he was leadership coaching for Tony Robbins, they're going to assume that he was doing it under Tony Robbins' methodology, right? Like they're not going to assume he was teaching something contrary to what Tony Robbins teaches. So I think it would be enough to just say, hey, I was a leadership coach for Tony Robbins' team for over XYZ amount of years, consulting with various executives and business owners and other people, if you wanted to include the life coaching side of things. Or you can even say, coaching or guiding or advising on both the business mastery side and the life coaching arm of the business, right? You just want to make it very clear and concise, because the more we try to make it sound high level, the less people understand. And when people don't understand, they don't take action. You know what I mean? It's kind of like how marketers and copywriters try to write at a third grade level so that most people just understand the copy that they're putting out there. It's the same thing with this. We can make it sound super high level and super complicated, like, you know, but at the end of the day, we just want most people to not have to think too hard about what it is. And you can, like, it's still just saying, hey, I ran my own consulting business where I consulted these types of people. Deal sizes were around $20,000 to $50,000, and I consulted over 10,000, or I enrolled over 10,000 businesses through it. That conveys more than enough value for them to be like, let's give this guy an interview. Same thing with the Tony Robbins. Hey, I was a leadership coach at Tony Robbins, the Tony Robbins Institute, where I, you know, coached or I helped advise multiple executives for over XYZ amount of time through both the business mastery side and the life coaching side of the business. That again also communicates more than enough value for them to be interested in giving him an interview, you know, without having to necessarily try to make it sound any more fancy than necessary. Does that make sense?
Would you use those terms also like on the resume? Would you change it and use those like easier to grasp terms on the resume as well?
Yeah.
The reason, like for Tony Robbins, I put senior leader because that's the official title, right? So I just wanted to be truthful. I didn't want to say something that somebody could say,
you can leave the title
like you're
here.
dressing it up or something. Okay.
Yeah, you can leave the title to what it actually was. Just make sure when you're doing the breakdown, you just put in, right? So let's see, you put senior leader at Tony Robbins transformation events globally, supporting program delivery, facilitating participant breakthroughs across intensive multi-day events with attendees across Europe. Key achievements, support participants so they break through. So let me see. This is kind of like what you did. Guiding participants navigate high pressure environments, zero margin for error. Navigate high pressure live environments, zero margin, no reset. Develop deep understanding. Built 20 plus years of transformation psychology. So achievements, this reads a little bit more like roles and responsibilities. What I would love to see here is what were some of the transformations or achievements or milestones that were hit, that you specifically hit in your role there. It might be a little bit different for the Tony Robbins one. You could definitely bring up some for the consulting, because obviously you consulted some of these people. Like you can say kind of the results that you were able to help, you know, how you were able to help some of your clients and in what ways. Again, short, sweet. You don't want to make it too long. With the Tony Robbins one, if especially on the B2B side, if you have anything like that, like especially you being someone that led in various degrees, what are some of the ways, what are some of the achievements that you either saw in some of the people you worked with, or what are some of the achievements? Because, you know, I'm assuming all of these roles, there's some way they were measuring performance. So were you top end performer out of other people in the similar role? Were you, did you bring some new ideas or anything to the role? Like, how did you outperform, or how did you perform in that role? That's what business owners really care about when they're looking at these things. But again, with your track record, this would be like, you know, adding a few more percentages to go from good to great. I think track record alone is going to land you a ton of interviews regardless. But if we're thinking about, hey, how can we maximize this? That's what I'd be looking at in these explanations. That makes sense?
Yeah, no, I got it. And obviously you already mentioned that you need to get your guy to fix the formatting there.
Yeah, I thought he already did, but I'm going to send him that today and have him jump on it. And then it'll be a lot clearer.
Okay. Yeah.
But yeah,
no,
overall,
you've given me a lot of like, you've given me a lot of like good pointers. So yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Hopefully that helps. I know next we were looking at Adrian. James, you had some questions. What's up, man?
Yeah, James, you can go ahead first. You're here first.
Oh, okay. Appreciate it, man. Uh, yeah, so just with like on the topic of the Loom video, do you think because like Daniel had a lot of good experiences, do you think just like overall, not talking about a specific um, offer or company you sold for in general would be best for a Loom video, and then they could refer to the profile, or should you like organize it by experience and company?
What I'm hearing is you're asking like, do you need to stuff everything in there?
Yeah,
Is that
like
what you're
because he
asking?
did the consulting company, then he did Tony Robbins, or could he have just gone like overall, revenue and amount of new enrollments and things like that?
Yeah, you can talk like if your experience is all sales, then definitely just saying, "Hey, across my career, I've closed XYZ in revenue. Average closers have been this." Like, I'm sure, like he mentioned it because they were different type of roles. Like a Tony Robbins one wasn't really like a closer role, right? Um, you want to think of the intro video like a movie trailer, right? You just grab snippets of the parts that are the most interesting, that are going to grab attention, that are going to get them to want to watch the movie, right? So you don't have to mention every single role you've ever done. You definitely want to mention your total revenue generated that you've done across your sales career. If you have that track record, utilize it. Does that answer your question, or is there a
Yeah.
follow up question there?
No fault. Yeah, that makes sense.
Cool.
Yeah.
Adrian, what's up?
Yeah. All right. Good. Hey. All right. So I have been extremely busy. I have three clients right now. One of them, good news. It's moving from just a VA job. I negotiated for 6% ownership of the entire company,
Nice.
and in the next every 3 months, I get 1.5 up to 8% ownership. It's a bit of a sales role where I'm closing jobs coming in, but also retention and also operations. The only concern I have though is the boss is a bit micromanageish. So my question to you is, have you ever had a sales role where they are pretty much on top of you for every little thing, and how did you navigate that?
Yeah, there's definitely some roles where bosses are micromanaging. I mean, at the end of the day, no matter what your issues are, all issues just need to be communicated. It comes down to having a conversation and figuring out why it's like that and communicating how you work best, right? Is it hindering your work? If it is, you can make that clear. In what way are they micromanaging?
So if a lead comes in and it's several of them, I can only respond to leads while also handling retention or scheduling. So I can't do everything at once. So he'll be like, why is this lead not responded to? Like 10 minutes has passed. What's happening? I'm also doing his payroll for his staff. So pretty much I'm doing like everything in the business, like back end. And he
Mm-hmm.
just oversees what I'm doing. So I
So,
think he's asking for a bit too much to start off with.
so yeah, you need to be in alignment with expectations, right? Like if you guys have a mutual understanding, a mutual agreement that leads will be contacted within 10 minutes, then again, if that's what's expected, if that's what's been lined out and aired out, then I mean, that's what he's going to expect. But again, all of these things, especially if you're doing so many different roles, need to be fleshed out and need to be agreed upon, right? That way there's just no, like if you're being called out for something, it's genuinely because you missed the mark, right? Have you guys spoken about speed to lead? Have you spoken about how much time you can allocate to what things? Have these things been fleshed out, the actual scope of work that you'll be doing?
It has been, but it's a bit unreasonable and also unrealistic, especially with I'm doing like five different job roles in one.
So then don't
So
accept it. You know what I mean? Don't accept unreasonable workload if you're not able to handle it, right? Like there's no, like you're not gonna do yourself any favors by saying yes to everything, even in it, and then finding out if you can't handle it. Like these things just need to be readjusted, or you need to move on from that place, right?
mhm.
Um, So I would sit down and have a conversation, and I would make it clear, like, hey, this is what I'm able to handle. This is the amount that I'm able to do. And if you can't do it within your timeline, maybe you negotiate either more pay for more time and more effort on your end, or again, if it's just not feasible regardless of the pay, then again, you need to make clear what is feasible, and that way you guys are just on the same page with expectations, right? Like if you can't, I don't know how your conversation went, but if he said, hey, this is what I expect, and you said, sure, let's do it, you can't blame him for expecting what you agreed to. So if you didn't agree to it, if you did agree to it, then there's not much that you could say other than renegotiating what you agreed to. Just sit down and have a conversation, right? Because I'm assuming he's not asking for things that you guys did that you didn't agree to, right?
Yes and no. So what I realized is he doesn't know currently what's realistic. That's
But
a
when
part.
you guys mapped out the scope of work, was all the things he's asking for within that scope, regardless of whether it was realistic or not? Did he say these are all the things I want and you agreed to it?
I haven't agreed. I said to him, let's leave it open because, for instance, he wants me to respond to his staff in like 2 minutes of them asking me a question, but he also wants me to respond to leads in like five
Well, you
minutes.
never want to leave it open because, again, it's unclear things is just a mess, right? When your work is unclear, when this is unclear, when that's unclear, it's a mess, right? So make sure that you sit down and make it very, very clear what you can and can't do and how much time you can and can't allocate. And most of the time, people can't do 3, 4, 5 roles well. You're just going to end up doing all of them mediocre, right? So at the end of the day, I think you just need to sit down and have a conversation and hash out what actually makes sense and what's actually possible.
Right, right. And a part of the problem too is that there, as mentioned, you said there's no clear structure, so he's a bit disorganized right now with everything in the entire business. So I'm like just trying to go over and clean up stuff, but I don't want to do all this cleanup stuff only to find out that he's in alignment long term. So right now I'm playing it. I'm being very cautious of as to how much I invest into the role while protecting myself and also delivering what he asked for.
And that's why 2 things you need to do: make that clear and get things in writing.
Right.
Right? You
Cool.
do those 2 things, and at least you've protected yourself a little bit. But yeah, man, go have that conversation and come back to me.
Cool. All right. Thanks, Ty.
Sweet. Who else? I know, Stan, you got your hand up. What's up, man?
Hey, Ty, happy to see you again. I would like to have my profile reviewed. Would that be possible?
Yeah, for sure. Drop the link.
Okay.
And then I know you are looking at it for a review as well, right, Mark? Cool. Well, we got yours here. We'll pull that up right now, Mark, and then we'll
Yes,
pull up
sir.
Okay.
Stan's.
I just dropped it.
Cool. We'll pull up both of them. Let me share screen here. And you got to put the share profile, Stan.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, the share link.
Yeah,
Cool thing.
got
We're
it.
actually
Okay.
we're actually coming out probably this week. We're coming out with usernames. So like instead of your share profile being like slash numbers and letters, it'll be like at your username, like all the other social platforms. You
Okay,
gotta
that's helpful.
be ready to claim your username before someone else takes it, though. It's like the old days of Twitter. You got to get all the good at names, and they'll be locked in. But that'll be coming out this week. Cool. So let's take a look at this.
Being ground floor. That's awesome.
Let's see. Revenue. We got it all there. Take a look at the intro video last. We got some call recordings. Fathom is a great, if you guys are recording your calls, Fathom's a great resource because business owners just know it in this industry, and it lets them like click. You know how I say clip stuff out so they know what to find and how to find it? Fathom kind of does some of that for you, so business owners can kind of go through it and click around rather than just a regular MP4 upload or like a Google thing. So Fathom's it's a pretty good resource for that stuff. Let's keep looking here. We've got some experience here. Wholesaling performance 33%. AK cash collected. Nice. Only thing I would say Nobody has no funnel. Close all these from organic interest. So I would want to take the negativity out of here. So you're like, I left because I was promised a full calendar, bracket as usual. Like, you know what I mean? It's just giving off, you know, a lot of negativity. I would remove that, and I would simply like highlight what you did without bashing the company, right? So you could say, hey, I did all of this with organic marketing, taking 3 calls a day or something, whatever it was, right? So they'll know like, oh, he did this with such low volume, he could probably do a lot more with more volume. Like, they'll understand that without you having to be like, could have done more if the marketing was better. Like, you know what I mean? No one really wants to bring a complainer onto the team, you know? So if that's what I would remove that stuff.
Gonna do that right away.
Especially if you've been on offers where if the lead flow, like a lot of business owners want to know, like, what do you do when lead flow is low? Do you complain, or are you going to work pipeline? Are you going to maximize your referrals? Are you going to be as productive as possible to make it happen regardless? And if I were to read this, I would be like, okay, he's probably a good closer, but he's the type that's just going to be upset if the lead flow slows down, which is just inevitable on most offers. Like, marketing stuff happen. I think Facebook just put out like this big update that crashed some people's ads, and like it just happens, you know, sometimes. So yeah, I would make that change here. Let's see.
Thank you.
The intro video. So one thing, I personally don't mind too much, but I've just heard it from tons and tons and tons of recruiters. They hate virtual backgrounds, simply because, well, it doesn't really look very good with prospects. It kind of, in a way, showcases that, hey, maybe you've got something to hide. Maybe there's, you know, maybe you for some reason you don't want to show your location, right? And it usually doesn't bode well with prospects, and it usually doesn't bode well with business owners and stuff like that as well. So I would ditch the virtual background. And virtual backgrounds, a lot of times they kind of make your actual self look like blurry and that kind of stuff. So I would just take it from your office. Even if it's just a blank wall, that's totally okay. Blurry backgrounds, virtual backgrounds, don't use any of that. Let's take a listen.
So, for example, my current background, due to technical limitations, I'm limited to this current location. I used to have a co-working space, so I'm limited to this current location. And this is what it looks like, which to me is pretty shitty, which is why I use a background. So what do you think?
Well, I can't see too well where you're at. I would like, is it just a blank wall?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing wrong with just a blank wall. There's nothing wrong with that.
So you would prefer this than the background?
Yeah,
based on
yeah. Okay. I would prefer just a blank white wall than a virtual background for sure.
That's very useful. Thank you.
Let's take a listen.
Hey guys, this is Mark Polgrave. I'm an experienced closer. Remote since 2019, seller since 2007. So from 2007 to 2019, I was in corporate sales, Salesforce, HubSpot related companies, Close.io, worked at Gartner, which is a notorious sales factory. And I went remote in 2019, started under Nick Cosman at salesprocess.io. Started as a setter, within 2 months moved to closer, left, started my own offer, and then worked on a number of other offers after that. The niche I've specialized in is real estate. Done a lot of real estate offers, very familiar with the space, especially when it comes to wholesaling and creative finance. But I've also sold fitness. I have sold financial services, and I've sold BizOp. Personal passion for real estate, so is definitely a natural fit, but I also enjoy selling fitness, as I am kind of a fitness guy myself. So top results on the top offer I've ever been on, which was Brent Daniels' real estate wholesaling education offer. I was there for 6 months. I was the number 2 closer for the whole time. That was a pretty professional, pretty dialed in operation, and I was number 2 from day one. So good lead flow. The top guy was doing probably $30K a month, and I came in on day 2. I was the number 2 closer. even with preferential lead flow to the top guy. So that I'm pretty proud of that. What I'm also proud of on that offer is seeing my students, the students that I enrolled, become really, really successful. So that was a function of the offer being itself really good. So what I'm looking for is a dialed-in offer, meaning, you know, marketing is working well. Offer doing 100K or more. That's kind of a proxy for marketing working well. With an overflowing calendar, and you need a skilled closer to come in and just shoot the lights out. So if that is you, we should probably have a chat.
So few things I would change here. One, I'll start with the technical. I already mentioned the background. Overall, you're gonna get heavily prejudged on the camera quality and the audio quality, because the way you show up in your intro video is the way they're gonna assume you're gonna show up on all your calls. Right now, you're showing up better than the way you show up in this intro video, right? Your camera quality looks way better, your microphone quality looks way better. But if I were to just watch this intro video, I would be like, I mean, does he not even have a proper setup to kind of take these calls? Do I really want someone with, you know, like 340p to jump on with my prospects? Like, you know what I mean? So that's something that will just get you immediately disqualified. Secondly, I just want to see more eye contact in the video. I want you to sell it. Like, I want you to like look, and obviously you're not looking me in the eye, but look right into the camera and just pitch with some confidence, with some energy, and really sell yourself. Imagine you're selling like the best product ever, right? You're selling the best service ever because you're selling your sales service. Another thing business owners are going to do is they're going to say, okay, if I took Mark, I took the way he looks, I took the way he sounds, I took his energy, I took his tonality, I took his cadence, I took everything except the words he was using and plugged in my pitch, would he close deals? And I know this isn't how you sell. I know you wouldn't get on a call and actually pitch the service this way, but business owners are assuming this is how you pitch the service, because guess what? You are pitching a service right now. It's your sales service. So I just want to see, and I've seen you jump on before. You've got tons of great energy. You can sell it, right? You've got good track record. You can sell. So I just want to see that translate here. What this is giving off is tired, frustrated. I don't want that to come across. I want energy to come across. I want excitement to come across. I want, hey, this guy is ready to crush to come across. And if you fix those, it would be a solid video. That make sense?
So useful, makes sense. Thank you. Sorry, tell me the pronunciation of your name again.
Ty, like tying your shoe. Awesome.
Ty, thank you so much. That's immensely valuable. Everything that you just told me. I'm going to implement it.
Problem. Implement it. You know, when it comes to like the camera, just for technical stuff, kind of like mine, where cut off mid chest, few inches above the head, just like how you'd show up on a Zoom call, kind of like Daniele has it there, Stan has it there, like that same aspect ratio. Perfect. Even James has it there. Perfect. That's what you want for these intro videos.
How about right now?
Yours looks good. I would zoom out just a little bit more. So a little bit more. But overall, looks good. Super nitpicky, but have it the same height as your face is where you want the camera. But again, that's super nitpicky. I think you look good. Sound good?
So much.
Cool. Let's take a look at yours, Stan.
Okay.
All right. I think you've heard me say this before. Headshot photos are usually the best. It's just easier to see you. So we can definitely upgrade that. We've got everything filled out. Role plays. Cool. Let's take a look at this intro video.
Hi, my name is Stan, and yes, I know I sound like a Russian mafia boss, but give me 60 seconds and you will know if I'm your next top producer. I left my entire life at 21, moved to America with $200 in broken English, working for $8 an hour. Since then, I built my career inside high-ticket sales, working across fitness coaching, AI marketing agencies, and business coaching offers, and I burned the boats. Last year alone, I invested over $65,000 from my own pocket into advanced sales training because I'm determined to be the best. I trained one-on-one with JP Egan.
Just wanted to vouch for my guy Stan. What an absolute legend. Guy came in the program, started crushing it, started putting in the work. This guy is one of the most committed people I've ever seen, with the biggest motivator behind him. So you guys will want to hire him because he's going to crush.
Andres Contreras and Yash Gajar, and I'm part of Jeremy Miner's inner circle. So my approach is very structured. I'm extremely coachable, highly competitive, and I take full ownership of my numbers. I've handled both inbound and outbound, so I understand the full sales cycle, and I tend to work best with entrepreneurs, coaches, and professionals. I'm very disciplined, I'm congruent with the process, and I will outwork anyone on the team. I work 7 days a week from morning to evening. If you're looking for someone who respects your pipeline, represents your brand properly, and treats your revenue like it's their own business, I'd be happy to jump on a call and see if we're aligned. If we are, let's make some money together.
So let's see here. Good energy. You've got, actually, let me listen to the beginning again.
Hi, my name is Stan, and yes, I know I sound like a Russian mafia boss, but give me 60 seconds and you will know if I'm your next top producer. I left my entire life at 21, moved to America with $200 in broken English.
So you've generated over $1 million in sales. Obviously, some of it was door to door. You were 700K of it was Launch My Agency. I didn't hear about any of that in the video unless I missed it. And that would have been what I want to hear, right? What this video is telling me is like high energy, you know, hardworking, ready to pound the pavement, brand new guy to sales. That's what I'm getting from the video, right? But jump in with that confidence of that, the fact that you've closed over $1 million. You can talk about the sales training afterwards. Russian mafia boss, that's funny. You know, you could leave that in for sure if you want to. Some business owners, that might get a chuckle out of them. Some maybe not, who knows? But I think that's fine. It's a little pattern interrupt. The testimonial video right in the middle would probably put that in the portfolio instead. I probably wouldn't leave that in the video or put it at the end. But I think, dude, you could jump on here. The hardworking part, the fact that you know how to. So the most standout parts, like I'm thinking if I was trying to hire for a team that I used to manage, the most attractive parts to me was hearing that you understand the full cycle and that you've done the full cycle. And I would have loved to hear about your $1 million cash collected. And that would have been the most interesting parts to me. And then the part where you're talking about hard work, obviously that's a good plus. And then the training, not super important, but it does show dedication to increasing your skill set. So you can definitely leave that in. But if you just jumped on here, said the one-liner, said the joke, talked about, you know, hey, my sales experience comes from being a closer for Launch My Agency, where I generated over $700,000, helping people, like more biz op offer, helping whatever. My close rate with it was this, and it looks like you set calls. Did you do both? You did the full cycle here?
Yeah.
Perfect. So hey, I've generated over $700,000 doing the full cycle. You know.
The way how I see it is like everybody is gonna be like, yeah, I collected like $1 million. Like everybody say the same shit.
Not really. I've reviewed a lot of intro videos, and a lot of people, their intro videos suck. I promise you. I promise you. And the reason why, like, people that have good videos do talk about revenue generated is because that's what business owners want to know. Like, that's the best number on the resume. First and foremost, it's like, okay, what have you done? And then the rest is bonus. And I'll tell you this, there's way more people talking about how they took a course or took training or did this, and way more people saying that they're a hard worker than there are people saying, hey, I've generated over $1 million in sales. Way more people. If I watch 100 intro videos, the bulk of them will talk about some kind of program or course they went through. And I promise you will get way more interviews if you talk about what you've actually achieved, because the rest is all theory, if not. You know what I mean? It's like, these are your best assets. It's like, think about any job you're applying to. It's like having history at in the field that you're trying to apply to and not including it on your resume, just because everyone that's applying has that. Does that make sense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I'm applying to a new like receptionist job, and I've been a receptionist for a few years, but I'm not going to put that on my resume because every other applicant has receptionist on their resume. It's like, you know, it's like, yeah, definitely add it. Definitely add it. You can still say the stuff about moving. You can say the stuff about investment. You can say all of that stuff, but I would just shift the order. Say your joke, say your revenue generated, close rates, and the fact that you managed a full cycle, and you understand how to set deals and close deals. Then you can go into, this is the training I've undergone because I'm dedicated to growth. I'm dedicated to mastering my craft. Then you can move on to other stuff after that. But that's the order I'd go in, because that's what's most attractive and that's what they care about. And most business owners, and this is for everyone, most of them are only going to watch the first 10 to 20 seconds. And they're going to make their decision to move on. And if you were
that's why I include the pattern interrupt, so they can
100%.
Watch
right after the pattern interrupt, you go into like, I took courses, and it's like, so has everybody else. You know what I mean?
It was my story that I burned the boats.
For sure.
But yeah,
the boats,
it's
took courses.
I mean, the thing is,
you know what I mean?
Like, not so many people invested that amount of money in a year in self-development. That's why I put that, because it's like eye-catching.
A lot less.
I mean?
A lot less people have generated $1 million than have invested in coaching. I'll tell you that much.
That's why I put the number that it's more than average person for sure. Like,
for sure.
we all know those people who spend like 5K, but not 65K.
For sure. I get it. I get what you're saying. Business owners just don't care that much.
Yeah.
It's about who trained you more than like how much you spent. Like, anyone can spend thousands of dollars on whatever random courses and programs. It's a good metric, but it's not more like, I wouldn't care more about the fact that you spent $60K than the fact that you've closed $1 million in sales. Like, no, not even by a long shot. Like, if I was hiring you for a team, totally different levels. So I'll say this. I've been, again, I've hired for my own teams. I've been on calls with all of the recruiters at Closers.io. I've networked with all the recruiters at Nomadic Closer, with Zach Brown and his recruiting. Some of the top sales recruiters in this industry. I've spoke to most of them, and never, ever have I once heard a single one of them ever say, how much sales training is that person invested in? Not once. Not once. But what I have heard was, I've heard them just say, hey, you sound great, you look great, but we can only accept people that have generated at least 500K. I have heard people say, has he closed high ticket before? I have heard, I've shown intro videos where they introduce themselves and they say, hey, has he ever closed any like high ticket? Has he done agency stuff? Has he done coaching? Yes. Okay, cool. Let's do it. I've never heard them be like, how much has he invested? Or, oh, that's impressive. He's invested 20. Like, never. Not even once. So although it is it's impressive, it's just not like, you want to put it in order of what they care about. And that they care about that way more. So you can put it in there, just don't put it first. Make sense?
Yeah, I understand.
Cool.
Besides the Loom video, can you go like a little below so you can see the rest?
Yeah. When it comes to the employment stuff, obviously you've got your call recordings here, your summary, talk about your methodology, solid. Fun fact about yourself, solid. One thing everyone to keep in mind, business owners, at least on Rep Select, they see your headline before almost everything else. So keep that in mind. That's what's shown on your like profile card. In terms of the employment, setting appointments for senior solar representative, managing pipeline, personal follow-up. Again, achievement based. What did you achieve? Any awards? Top of the team? You know, standout months. Even if it was as simple as, because most of these companies, like if you're in the corporate side, it's usually quota and attainment. For kind of the less corporate, this kind of info product side, it's usually projections. Even if you have a history of hitting or exceeding projections, you want to list that. You want to say that, hey, I consistently hit projections for 6 months in a row, or I never missed projections, not once in my entire tenure on the team. Like, that's huge, right? Talk about that. So only thing I would add here is making it more achievement based. And if you say that if you've spent over 60K, put the investment, put all of the places you've bought from here. I see NEPQ Inner Circle. I think that's like 20K. I don't know. Maybe you spent more in that same organization. But if you have other coaches, programs, stuff you went through, you can put that in your education as well.
Yeah.
Cool. Makes sense?
Okay.
Preferred niche be business coaching. Only thing I would say is if you're not solid on any of these things, maybe hide it, because, and I don't have exact data on this, but you don't want necessarily like business owners to like pass you up if they don't fit this. You know what I mean? You know, this customer type says B2C, but preferred niche is business coaching. You know?
Okay.
So like maybe just
okay.
Overall looks good. Energy is good on the intro video. Yeah, I would just make that swap.
Okay.
Daniele, you said
Thank you.
Much does deal size matter? Deal size matters to the deal size you're applying for. It's just that simple. Like like if you have closed 20K deals and you're applying for a role where they've got 20K deals, then great. If you're applying for a role, like, you know what I mean? They're just looking for alignment there. So that at least you've spoken to the types of people that are willing to spend the amount of money. Like if you've generated 10 million in sales, but your average deal size is like $100 or $1,000, yeah, it's still 10 million in sales, but they would probably ask, hey, have you done anything more than that in terms of deal size? If they're trying to sell something 5K, 10K, you know?
So what else, Ty, then what else can you use to kind of, because obviously we all need to start somewhere, and also somebody at some point is going to have to give somebody a chance to close those types of deal if somebody hasn't closed that deal size. So what else can one use other than having done it previously if they haven't?
Use in what sense? Like in terms of your intro video, or in what sense?
Well, you know, just anything. How can you land the deal where the ticket size is 25,000 if you've not done 25,000 deals before?
These things aren't hard rules. Like, they're not going to pass you up just because you've only closed 10K deals and not 20K deals, right? It's all about just check marks in the yes category. Okay, has he closed in this amount? Check mark in the yes category. Maybe you're 10% more likely to get the role. Has he closed in this same niche? Check mark in the yes category. It's all percentage based. There's not like, oh, I need a closer that has specifically closed 20K or more deals. I don't care if you've got 10 million cash collected. If you've never closed 20K deals, then we're not going to work with you. It's same thing. Like, people with zero experience. I've had people I've worked with zero experience land closer and setter roles for Tony Robbins business mastery, right? And it comes down to you have two things. You have the way you present yourself, and you have your track record. And both of them are working towards either landing you or not landing you the role. The bigger and better your track record, the less good you have to be at presenting yourself. Obviously, to a point. If you just look and sound terrible, it doesn't matter your track record. But the bigger and better your track record, the less they're like scrutinizing how you show up, because a lot of business owners see that as less of a risk. It's all about managing risk for them. And the less or worse your track record, or I don't even say worse, it's just like the less track record you have, the better you have to present yourself. So it's kind of like a spectrum where these two things are like weighed out on a scale per se. Like if you have zero track record, your intro video, you better have the most confidence. You better have the best communication skills. You better have a good crisp camera quality, good audio quality. You better show up well. You know what I mean? So it's all a scale, right? What they're looking at. But if you have, there's some people that might get away with maybe their intro video is not the best. Maybe it's just them spouting off the numbers they've done. But because their track record is so good or so relevant to that role, they'll give them an interview anyways, right? So it's kind of like, how do I maximize what I do have? But that's why if everyone just maximizes how they present themselves, the track record is the track record. You do with it what you can. But everyone should focus on maximizing how they present themselves. Now, as a beginner, that's why you can make role play clips by practicing with other people and stuff like that to showcase that you can sell, because all the track record is believability and proof. That's what all the track record is. Because as a business owner, you're managing risk. For example, Mark was talking about how he wants a role with full calendars, great lead flow, all that stuff. And I've said this before, but who here, on average, for these types of offers, who here knows what it costs to fill a closer's calendar? Can anyone guess?
$7,000-$10,000
per month? Yeah,
let's say per week.
Per lead, it can go
Per
anywhere
week.
from $50 on the low end to $300 per lead on the high end. Depends
So
on
that's
the-
per lead. From what I've seen, anywhere from $200 to $600 per call. That's
Gotcha.
what I've seen on averages when it comes to like just pure ad spend. There's obviously, organic and other things that, and setters, sometimes if you've got good setter team, they can lower that down. But just on average, $200 to $600 cost per call. And then obviously there's how many of those calls are qualified? What's the show rate? That brings it down even more. But let's say it was a $300 cost per call and the closer you took 6 calls per day and you worked 5 days a week only. That's $9,000 a week in call volume from advertising. Now, if the deal is $5K, you got to close at least 2 a week in order for the business owner to just break even. Not even break even, because they got to pay you 10%. So you got to close like 3 a week at least, right? So there's risk. So if you're like, okay, every single hire, there's obviously ramp up time. So you expect to they are not going to might not close right away. There's ramp up time. There's pipelines. There's split pays. This is also assuming if that 5K deals are all PIFs, right? On top of that, there are PIFs means like pay in full. Some of them might pay half up front. Some of them might, go on different type of payment plan. Yeah. So from the business owner's perspective, there's a lot of risk. So when they hear, hey, I've never closed deals before in my life, which obviously you're not going to put it like that in the interview, but when they hear you've never closed before, they're like, you've got to show me something that makes me take that $40,000 a month risk on you, right? What are you going to show me that makes me willing to risk 40K on you? And mind you, if they risk it on you and you don't work out, we've got to reset the whole thing. And if they got to do that 3 times, 40 becomes 80, becomes 120. And it can stack up real fast, right? So that's why it's like, okay, if you've got track record, if you've got experience, if you've got sales that you've done before, at least they're like, okay, minimize risk. So everything that we showcase, everything we do is about making ourselves appear less risky. So one piece of it is I've sold before. That's a notch in, like, risk goes down a little bit. Okay, I've sold in your niche before. Like, I've actually sold the thing you sell. Okay, risk goes a little bit down. Okay, now I've sold the same ticket price. You have 10K deals, I sold 10K deals. Risk goes down. You see what I'm saying? If you don't have those things, what else can you do to mitigate risk? Okay, maybe I don't have the track record in the niche and all of that experience, but I have role plays that sound great And the way I'm selling in my role plays is the same way you see people on your team or your top performers selling. So you see that I have the same sales methodology that your team deploys. Okay, risk goes down. Because, hey, I'm hearing in his role plays, the way he does discovery, the way he asks questions, the way he handles objections, the way he pitches is the same as we do it on our team. So therefore, he's probably going to be able to, gel, or she's probably going to be able to gel and mesh with this team pretty quickly and get up to speed, right? But if people come in and they have no role plays, no experience, no nothing, and they're just saying, hey, I've done a course, now, okay, maybe the program they took, that coach teaches a methodology that that business owner likes and also teaches their team, that could lower the risk a little bit. But you want to stack as many of these things as possible, because it's not just about, hey, I've got something that mitigates risk. It's you've got to be less risky than the guy beside you that's also applying now.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because even if you're like, hey, but I've got good role plays, I got this, I feel like I'm presenting, I'm not that risky, but then you've got the guy beside you who has all that you have, plus he's sold in the same niche and has all these other things, they're probably going to get picked over you. So that's why you just want to maximize every aspect possible, and you'll land a lot more roles than if you only did one thing or two things, or if you had, if you didn't do all of the necessary things to mitigate that risk for the business owner. And then there's also just making different deals, making different offers. So I've seen people land roles by being like, hey, listen, let me work your old pipeline and pull out deals. And if I pull out deals, then you can put me on the fresh calls. So there's other ways. If you get creative, there's other ways of mitigating risk. Not all of it is let me get the role, because you can mitigate risk by offering to dial their dead leads, because those leads are done and paid for, and they've already assumptively pulled out as much cash as they could. I've seen people land roles by being like, hey, if the person's like, you're so close, you just don't have the track record, I just don't want to take the risk. You could say, hey, listen, let me prove myself. I'll come in, give me the list of all of your old leads that you guys are not nurturing, not touching anymore. I'll dial them, I'll set them, I'll close them. And if I do, then you can slowly progress me onto your new leads. How's that sound? You can make a deal, right? If people have no track record, no experience, I would suggest giving that a shot as well. You might be able to get on some really solid killer teams that way that would normally never hire you, because again, you're not a risk anymore outside of the fact of maybe training or time or, but again, it's less risk than if they brought you on officially, because you're generating older revenue, right? So it's all about mitigating risk.
And I have a question when it comes to applying for roles from your platform. What is like the best way to do that?
Well, you would apply. Sometimes you have the application form. Sometimes you just submit your profile. So make sure your profile is good to go, which we obviously already went over that. And I would always suggest, some of them are going to have the email. Some of them are going to have the contact link, like their social media. Even if you don't see it, I would search them up on LinkedIn or Facebook, and I would always reach out directly. And you've heard me say this before, Stan. I would reach out directly outside of the platform after I've applied, simply because you're going to skip a lot of the line. You're going to skip the people that are all waiting in the ATS from applicants. The simplest way to say it is you have to look at your sales career like an entrepreneur looks at their business. Do the appointment setter work to land the appointment setter job. Do the closer work to land the closer job. If you showcase setter or closer traits in the interview process, landing the job is going to be that much easier. Not many people are willing to not only apply, but then reach out directly and straight up pitch them. Pitch them in the DMs, or set an appointment. The interview is your closing call. Set the appointment, right? Do follow up, right? Every single person that has done this has landed way more interviews than people that haven't. Yeah. So again, I would shoot them a message. Hey, Stan, saw you were hiring a closer. I went ahead and applied to the role. I believe I'm a great fit because of these reasons. Hey, I saw your marketing agency. I have set and closed deals in marketing. I understand the lingo. I understand the niche. I understand your prospects. And I think I would absolutely smash it on this role. Here's 2 other reasons, reason. Here's a little bit more about me, and then share that Rep Select profile so they can look into you more if they're interested. That's probably the best framework to reach out directly. You can do that via email. Okay. You can do that on socials. Socials, usually they might see it a little bit quicker. Or you could, I would just do both. If I really, like, if it was an offer I really wanted to land, it's like, hey, this looks like a really solid company, I would do both. And then if I didn't hear anything back, 24, 48 hours, follow up. Because what they're going to do, I've literally interviewed and hired people simply because they followed up like 3 or 4 times. So I'm like, hey, if they're willing to follow up here, they're probably going to do that for the leads that I give them, right? And what did I just say before? It's all about mitigating risk for business owners. And one way to mitigate risk is they want someone that's going to pull out every dollar possible out of the leads that they pay for. So if you showcase that you're willing to follow up, you're willing to touch base again, good to go. I've had business owners straight up tell me, even if I want to interview someone, if they reach out to me, I'll ignore the first message just to see if they follow up. And if they follow up, I'll give them the interview. If they don't follow up, then I won't. Even if I like it. Right? Even if I would give them the interview normally. Because they just want to see if you'd follow up. They want to see if it's something that is actually a priority for you. I don't know how many of them do that, but I've had buddies of mine that are sales managers that said that that's what they do. So, you know what I mean? That's how I'd go about it.
Okay.
Use Rep Select as like the platform that shows you where the jobs are, where the companies are, all in one place, right? Don't just apply and then sit and wait. I mean, there's one guy who said he applied to 200 jobs and landed an offer in 3 days, but you can do it that way, or you can, it depends on how you want to go about it. But yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead. Just stay in bed. Sleeping in.
Sorry. And when it comes to finding the good offer, I heard like people were talking, hey, like you need to look for a company that is making at least $500,000 a month. But there's like other people who say, hey, like you can find like a really good offer even if the influencer have just 2,000 people followers on Instagram, but the offer is like really good. Like, how do you find what is like the best like a checklist to find a good offer?
Well, what do you define as a good offer?
That's the thing.
Because I've worked with people that maybe some others wouldn't consider a good offer. I've worked with a guy who, just a solopreneur, coaching business, got his leads through YouTube ads, had like 3K on YouTube and didn't really use any other channels. Was doing like 50 to 60K a month, and I was getting 20% commission, just taking a couple calls, like, you know what I mean? And it was good. It was great. So like, what would you define as a good offer?
Yeah, I need to think about it.
Because like some bigger companies,
I have to jump on.
You have to jump.
I'm on them. Yes, thank you.
Last thing I'll say to everyone else is like, because some bigger companies, they come with maybe mandatory team meetings. Maybe you want more of like a gig type lifestyle where you don't, for that role that I was just speaking about, there was no team meetings. It was just calls, 2-3 calls appeared on my calendar. I closed at like 50% and got 20% commission. And whenever I closed the deal, I just added to the tracking sheet and sent him a screenshot of the deal processed, and commissions just got sent to my PayPal, and away we go. And I was doing other things on the side and whatever. We met, I think we met like 5 times total, on Zoom. There was no meetings, no nothing. It was just kind of doing my thing. Some people, they want more of a structured role where, they've got daily team huddles and a whole bunch of other stuff. None of them are wrong or right. It's just what type of offer are you looking for is going to determine what's good, what's good for you. I know a lot of experienced sales guys don't mind working with a smaller company with a super high ticket thing. Like maybe, Daniele, he was saying he was a consultant. Let's say I was just closing for him and he was just doing his consulting thing and it was 20 to 50K, and you know, we closed a handful a week, and commissions was, you know, 15 to 20%, and everything was good. Like, you know what I mean? That could be a great offer for a lot of people. You can make a lot of money that way, right? You don't necessarily need the whole corporate structure of massive teams and delivery teams and all that, versus some people might want that, you know? So, yeah. James, what's up, man?
Oh yeah, I appreciate that was like a super value pack call. So even if it was for all these other guys, but yeah, just a simple question. I'm in a co-working space for at least the next month or so. I just can't really like facilitate a home office right now. What do you think about the background? I know this wall looks kind of funky, but
Yeah, I think it's fine.
okay.
Yeah.
What about like just like because sometimes I might get a desk here and there's like other people and there's like it just shows that I'm in a public setting. So
Just like, it's more about background noise and stuff. If you can get, I know you're using like AirPods and stuff, but if you can get a mic that kind of does a little bit of noise canceling, then you should be fine. You know, a good headphones plus a mic that'll cut out like the background chatter and stuff like that, then yeah, you'll be all right.
okay, just wanted to make sure like but cool, yeah, that's it for me.
Cool.
Appreciate it, Ty.
No problem. Any final questions before we wrap up and hop off? Everyone good to go? Everyone learned something?
Yeah, Ty,
Okay.
I've got a quick question.
What's up?
Since you mentioned that the total revenue generated, that's like the most important number. So in my intro video, I've got the number of clients and the close rate, simply because the period of time is a long period of time. So I wanted to focus more on the consistency. Should I swap it and mention the total revenue on
You
the
can do
video?
both. I would mention both. You want to mention all the numbers that are attractive. So yeah, definitely talk about your total revenue generated across all of the things you've sold. Definitely mention that.
Okay. So the reason why I didn't put all of them is because so my total revenue generated was 50 million
Mhm.
over 18 years. And I closed more than 10,000 clients. But now if you do the math, then we go like the deal size, the average seems like really small. So then we've got the issue that this is just me assuming that the person on the other end is going to say, oh, you know, yeah, they generated this much, but it was over this many clients, meaning that then the deal size was very small, while in fact the range was more varied, right? I just don't want them to assume, okay, you know, 50
the way
million,
I would say
10,000,
it,
then they close 50.
what was the
The
range?
deal was $1,500.
What was the
It was
range?
between $1,000 and $10,000.
That was the range of deal sizes? Okay.
Yeah.
So you would just say that. Say, hey, I've closed over $50 million across my sales career, with over 10,000 closes individually, averaging a, let's say, 30% close rate, with deal sizes ranging from $1,000 all the way up to $10,000 or more.
Okay.
And that's it. You just say that.
Okay.
Cool. Any other questions on that? Awesome.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Hopefully this call was helpful for you guys. I'll be dropping the recording as well in the school community. For those of you that are on the kind of membership there, I'll see you Wednesday. For those of you that aren't, maybe I'll see you again on Monday. Have a good rest of your day. Happy Monday.
Yeah, Ty, sorry about the membership.
Yep.
How does it work and how is it different from this call?
So the Wednesday call is obviously smaller, more intimate. Usually we're doing like call reviews and role playing together and that kind of stuff, more sales skill stuff. And then you just get access to all of the course training that you see in the classroom there.
Okay, awesome.
Cool. Have a good one, guys. Later.
Take your time. Bye.